Welcome back tonight. We know that most of the jurors who were deciding the fate of the Parkland High School shooter thought that he deserved to die. But the foreman now says that 3 people on the panel did not. And since verdicts of guilt or the death penalty, for the most part, have to be unanimous, Nikolas Cruz will instead be sentenced to life in prison. And he will never, ever, ever get out until he goes out in a body bag. But the families of his victims are outraged by that. 17 of those victims were gunned down in the hallways of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on Valentine's Day in 2018. Nikolas Cruz fired more than 300 rounds, shooting at students who were trying to run away, sometimes going back to make sure that his victims were dead. But his life will be spared. It is the deadliest mass shooting ever to go on trial in this country. Victims' families were inside the courtroom as the sentencing verdict was read, some of them shaking their heads, holding themselves, some of them crying. One victim's son just got up and stormed out. Others said they were disgusted.
We are beyond disappointed with the outcome today. This should have been the death penalty, 100%. 17 people were brutally murdered on February 14, 2018. I sent my daughter to school, and she was shot 8 times.
So what were the so-called mitigating factors? Those factors that moved 3 of the jurors to vote for life over death. The defense cited fetal alcohol syndrome, antisocial personality disorder, and other mental impairments on that young man. But those things don't make the magnitude of the crime any smaller or the survivor's pain any less. As one family member asked, if monsters like Nikolas Cruz don't warrant a trip to death row, then who does? Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pointed out that Cruz is being treated the same as criminals with lesser charges.
That means that this killer is going to end up getting a same sentence of people who've committed bad acts, but acts that did not rise to this level. I just don't think anything else is appropriate except a capital sentence in this case.
Is the jury verdict today at all a harbinger of what might be to come? As Americans start prioritizing mental health in this country, are more jurors going to look at those defendants and punish less? I'm joined now by renowned jury consultant Jo-Ellan Dimitrius. It's good to see you, Jo-Ellan. Thanks for joining me. I was astounded. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was a layup, given that it's Florida. And you and I have done so many trials together where we see it happens all the time, and yet it didn't on this one. 17 kids. That's the worst of the worst, and yet he didn't get what the death penalty was made for. What do you suppose is the reason?
Well, I think it's probably within all the mitigating factors. You spoke of some of them just a moment ago. Apparently, there were 41 mitigating factors. And in a capital case, what happens is unanimously, they have to decide for one factor in aggravating, which obviously they did, and then that brings in the mitigating factors. I don't know what all 41 mitigating factors were. I do know that one of them was his plea and any sort of remorse that he may have shown. I think that those are really the key to why those 3 people voted the way they did.
So there's the other idea that, we are becoming a more enlightened society when it comes to mental illness, mental health, and what it can do to someone. And I'm curious if you think that either had an effect on some of those jurors deliberating the most heinous, cruel, and atrocious crimes that I've seen in a courtroom, or if it might start having an effect as you go forward, because this is your job, right? You have to pick the jurors that, the person hiring you wants to see the right outcome. Do you think you're going to have to start looking at what jurors are being voir dired who are very soft on the idea of mental health?
Oh, I think definitely that has to be a consideration, and it always has been in capital cases that I have worked on. I think that the mental health issue is something that is much more in the forefront than it was even 5 years ago. But I think it also goes to the juror themselves and being able to theoretically apply the death penalty versus being there and being the one many people themselves feel as though when they vote for the death penalty, they're actually giving the injection themselves. So I think that key to knowing about those 3 jurors would have been the voir dire at the beginning of the process.
So I only have a few seconds left, but I think this is important for people out there who don't know. When those jurors come in and they're asked all those voir dire questions, there's a process called death qualifying. You have to be death qualified in order to be accepted on a jury, meaning you can't come in and say, I disagree with death penalty altogether. You have to be okay with it, be an open mind. But do you think that death qualifying now, given the fact that so many more people, so many more of the jury pool are attuned to the mental health crisis in the country, do you think that death qualifying process is going to be more difficult?
I think it potentially can be more difficult. And certainly just in the years that I've been in the business, that process has changed tremendously. So where it goes from here, I think will be a point of discussion amongst people in the judiciary and the public. And I might finish by saying that my sympathies go out to all of those families and the loved ones that they lost.
Agreed. I'm there with you. Jo-Ellan, always good to see you. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.